You know what drives me absolutely crazy? Watching people throw money into stocks, crypto, and whatever investment is trending on social media while carrying credit card debt that's quietly charging them 20%, 25%, sometimes even more every single year. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while ignoring the giant hole in the bottom, and then people wonder why they're not getting ahead financially. The truth is, building wealth isn't just about investing, it's about doing things in the right order. Because if your financial foundation is broken, even great investments won't save you. Hi, I'm Alex, a financial educator, and on this channel we break down money, investing, and wealth building into simple steps anyone can follow. If you're serious about improving your finances, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It helps the channel and lets me know you want more practical financial content like this. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Millions of people are trying to invest before they're actually ready to invest. They spend hours researching stocks, ETFs, crypto projects, and side hustles, yet they don't have enough cash saved to cover a basic emergency. Think about that for a second. A flat tire, a medical bill, a broken appliance, one unexpected expense can wipe out their bank account. And when that happens, many people are forced to sell investments at exactly the wrong time or pile even more debt onto credit cards. That's why the order of your financial decisions matters so much. Imagine you're building a house. You wouldn't start by installing luxury countertops before pouring the foundation. You wouldn't buy expensive furniture before putting a roof on the building. But that's exactly what many people do with their money. They focus on investing before they've built the systems that make investing successful. And the cost of getting this wrong can be enormous. Every month you carry high-interest debt. You're paying money to lenders instead of building wealth for yourself. Every month you skip an employer retirement match. You're walking away from free money. Every month you ignore tax advantages available to you. You're giving away returns that could have stayed in your pocket. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact order you should invest your money, not the exciting version, not the social media version, the version that actually works. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do first, what to do second, and what to avoid completely. If your goal is long-term financial freedom, let's start with the foundation that almost everyone wants to skip. Your emergency fund. I know it's not exciting. Nobody brags online about building an emergency fund. Nobody posts screenshots of their savings account going viral. But this single step protects everything else you build. Because investing works best when you don't need the money tomorrow, an emergency fund gives you options. When your car breaks down, you use your emergency fund. When an unexpected bill shows up, you use your emergency fund. When life throws a surprise your way, you use your emergency fund. What you don't do is sell investments at a loss or swipe a credit card because you have no backup plan. That's why before you invest seriously, you need cash reserves. For most people, the first milestone should be saving your first $1,000. Not because it's a magical number, but because it creates breathing room. It gives you a buffer between everyday life and financial disaster. After that, work toward 1 month of expenses, then 3 months, then eventually 3 to 6 months depending on your job stability and personal situation. Because here's what most people don't realize. Financial security isn't created by how much you earn. It's created by how much time your savings can buy you when life goes wrong. And once that foundation is in place, that's when we move to the next critical step, eliminating high-interest debt. Because before your investments can work for you, you have to stop debt from working against you. Now let's talk about the biggest wealth killer most people ignore, high-interest debt. If you're carrying credit card debt with a 20% or 25% interest rate, every dollar you invest is fighting an uphill battle. Think about it this way. If your investments earn 8% in a good year, but your credit card is charging 22%, you're effectively losing ground. The debt is growing faster than your money. That's why paying off high-interest debt is often one of the best investments you can make. Unlike the stock market, there's no uncertainty, no volatility, no bad earnings reports. Every dollar you use to eliminate high-interest debt gives you a guaranteed return equal to the interest rate you're avoiding, and guaranteed returns are incredibly rare in the financial world. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you have $5,000 in credit card debt charging 22% interest. If you only make minimum payments, you'll spend years paying it off and hand over thousands of dollars in interest along the way. That's money that could have been building your future instead of enriching the bank. So here's the strategy. List every debt you have, write down the balance, the minimum payment, and the interest rate. Continue making minimum payments on all debts, then focus every extra dollar on the debt with the highest interest rate. Once that debt is gone, move to the next highest. This strategy is known as the debt avalanche method. It's mathematically the fastest and cheapest way to become debt-free, but there's one major exception to this rule, and it's something too many people overlook: employer retirement matching. If your company offers a matching contribution to your retirement account, you should almost always contribute enough to get the full match. Why? Because it's free money. Imagine your employer says, "For every dollar you invest, we'll add another dollar." That's an instant 100% return before your investment even has a chance to grow. You'll never find another opportunity like that. Let's say you earn $60,000 a year and your employer matches up to 5% of your salary. That means by contributing $3,000 annually, you could receive another $3,000 from your employer. That's money you're already entitled to. The only way to lose it is by not claiming it. So the smart move is simple: contribute enough to receive the full employer match, then redirect every remaining dollar toward eliminating your high-interest debt. Once the debt is gone, you can increase your retirement contributions even further. This approach allows you to capture free money while still attacking the financial obstacle that's holding you back. Now at this point, your financial foundation is starting to look strong, you have emergency savings, you're eliminating expensive debt. You're taking advantage of employer matching, and this is where many people think they've reached the investing stage, but not quite. Because before we move deeper into investing, there's another layer that can dramatically increase the amount of money you keep over your lifetime: taxes. Most people spend countless hours trying to earn more money. Very few spend time learning how to keep more of what they earn. Yet taxes can quietly take a huge bite out of your investment growth over decades. That's why the next phase isn't about chasing higher returns. It's about making your money more efficient. And that starts with taking advantage of accounts designed to help investors grow wealth while minimizing taxes. This is where retirement accounts become incredibly powerful. Because when you reduce taxes, you increase the amount of money left behind to compound, and over decades, that difference can be enormous. Let's look at exactly how to prioritize those accounts and why most investors are doing it backwards. Now let's look at how to prioritize those accounts and why so many people get this part wrong. The average investor spends an incredible amount of time trying to find better investments. They'll spend hours researching stocks, watching market predictions, and scrolling through financial content online. But they'll spend almost no time learning how taxes affect their returns. And that's a mistake, because taxes don't just reduce your wealth once, they reduce it year after year after year. Which means every dollar you legally keep invested has more time to compound, and compounding is where wealth is really built. So after you've captured your employer match and eliminated high-interest debt, the next priority is usually maximizing your retirement accounts. Why? Because these accounts give your investments special advantages that regular brokerage accounts simply can't offer. Depending on where you live, these accounts may have different names, but the concept is the same. The government wants people to save for retirement, so it provides tax incentives to encourage long-term investing, and smart investors take advantage of every benefit available. Think about it like this. Imagine two people invest exactly the same amount of money every year. They earn the same returns, they invest for the same amount of time. The only difference is that one uses tax-advantaged accounts while the other ignores them. 30 years later, the difference can be enormous. Not because one person picked better investments, but because one person kept more of their money working for them. Now here's where things become interesting. Many people automatically put every retirement dollar into their workplace retirement plan. And while that isn't necessarily wrong, it isn't always the most efficient move either. Workplace retirement plans often have limited investment choices. Some offer excellent low-cost funds. Others are packed with expensive options that quietly drain returns through fees. That's why many investors choose to prioritize an individual retirement account. After receiving their employer match, these accounts typically offer greater flexibility, more investment choices, lower fees, and more control over your portfolio. Instead of being limited to a handful of funds chosen by your employer, you can often choose from thousands of investments. That flexibility matters, because fees matter a lot more than most people realize. Let's say one investment charges 1.5% annually while another charges only 0.05%. The difference seems tiny, almost irrelevant, but over several decades, those fees compound just like investment returns. The result? The higher fee investment can leave you with tens of thousands of dollars less in retirement. That's money that could have stayed in your pocket. This is one of the reasons legendary investors consistently emphasize low-cost investing. Not because it's exciting, but because it works. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked wealth-building tools available, the Health Savings Account, or HSA. If you're eligible for one, this account can be incredibly powerful. In fact, many financial professionals consider it one of the most valuable accounts available. Here's why. Most investment accounts give you one tax advantage, some give you two. But HSAs can potentially provide three. First, contributions may reduce your taxable income. Second, your investments can grow tax-free. Third, withdrawals for qualified medical expenses can also be tax-free. That's a combination that's difficult to beat, and healthcare is one of the largest expenses many people face later in life. Medical costs aren't going away. If anything, they continue becoming more expensive, which means having dedicated tax-advantaged funds available for healthcare can provide tremendous flexibility in retirement. Now, here's where many people make a mistake. They treat their HSA like a checking account. They contribute money and immediately spend it. But many experienced investors take a different approach. If they can afford it, they pay current medical expenses out of pocket and allow the HSA balance to remain invested. Over time, those investments can compound for decades. The result is a growing pool of tax-advantaged money available later in life. Again, the theme keeps repeating itself. Time, compounding, tax efficiency. Those three factors drive a huge portion of long-term wealth creation, not stock picking, not market timing, not speculation. Now, once you've fully utilized your retirement accounts and any HSA opportunities available to you, you're ready to move into the next stage. This is where regular investment accounts finally enter the picture, and honestly, this is the stage most people think should come first, but in reality, it comes much later. A taxable brokerage account gives you flexibility. You can invest whenever you want, withdraw whenever you want, buy almost any investment you choose. There are no contribution limits, no retirement restrictions, no age requirements. That freedom is valuable, but it comes at a cost. Taxes. Every dividend may be taxable. Every profitable sale may create a tax bill. Over time, those taxes create friction that slows your wealth-building process. That's why brokerage accounts are usually most powerful after you've exhausted the more tax-efficient options first. Now let's address something that causes a lot of confusion. What should you actually invest in? This is where many beginners get overwhelmed. They think they need to become experts. They think they need to predict the future. They think they need to identify the next Amazon before everyone else. But successful investing is often much simpler than people expect. Instead of searching for a single winning company, many investors choose broad index funds. These funds allow you to own hundreds or even thousands of companies at once. You're not relying on one business succeeding. You're participating in the growth of entire markets. And historically, this approach has been surprisingly difficult to beat because while individual companies can fail, economies tend to keep growing over long periods. That's why diversification remains one of the most important concepts in investing. You're reducing risk while still participating in growth. And for most people, that's exactly what investing should accomplish. Now, here's a lesson that took many investors years to learn. Investing is often less about intelligence and more about behavior. People love to believe success comes from secret knowledge, but in reality, behavior usually determines outcomes. When markets rise, people become greedy. When markets fall, people become fearful, and those emotions lead to bad decisions. Buying high, selling low, chasing trends, abandoning plans. The investors who succeed long-term are often the ones who simply stay consistent. They continue investing during good markets. They continue investing during bad markets. They keep showing up month after month, year after year. Because they understand something most people eventually learn the hard way. Wealth isn't built in a single year. It's built through decades of disciplined decisions. And that's why following the correct investment order matters so much. Every step strengthens the next one. Emergency savings create stability. Debt elimination removes obstacles. Employer matching provides free money. Retirement accounts improve tax efficiency. HSAs offer additional advantages, and taxable accounts provide flexibility once everything else is optimized. Each layer supports the next, like building a house. You start with the foundation, then the structure, then the roof. You don't begin with decorations. Financial success works exactly the same way. The people who appear lucky often aren't lucky at all. Do the right things in the right order, stay consistent, avoid unnecessary mistakes, give compounding enough time to work, and over the long run, those simple decisions can completely transform your financial future. If you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on personal finance, wealth building, and financial freedom. And if this message resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.